All right, so let's try to summarize some of the things that we've learned about the decorator design pattern. So the decorator typically keeps a reference to the object or indeed several objects that it decorates. It may or may not proxy over the calls, meaning that the decorator may or may not replicate the API of the original object. Remember that you cannot cast a decorator to the original object. You cannot perform that cast because there is no inheritance here. So whether or not you want to replicate the API, like for example, if you inherit, or if you decorate rather, a string builder, do you want to have every single API member of a string builder if all you need are a few simple things like append, append line, and that sort of thing? Probably not. It's probably redundant to replicate every single method, although once again with ReShopper it's far too easy to do that sort of thing. So ReShopper helps you generate delegated members. It's very convenient, and it allows you to both set up these kind of classic decorators where you simply take one component and you decorate it, but it also allows you to emulate multiple inheritance by effectively implementing two interfaces and having two members aggregated and then generating the interfaces for both of them. And yes, at certain point you can have clashes between two interfaces, for example, and that's something that's solvable as well, so not a particular problem. Now, in C#, the decorator does also exist in a static variation, and what we're talking about is the layering of decorators not by calling their constructors, but by specifying a type with generic arguments. Unfortunately, unlike in C++, the use of this approach is very limited because we still cannot inherit from type parameters. You cannot have a type foo of t inheriting from t, and therefore this approach, which works very well, it's actually an excellent approach in C++, it is very inconvenient in C#, so I wouldn't really recommend it.